Have you ever felt an itch that refused to go away? A sensation so ordinary that you brushed it off as dry skin, yet deep down, something about it unsettled you? What if I told you that a simple itch could be a warning, a whisper from your body about dangers silently building inside, dangers that could steal your independence, your clarity, even your years of life? Most people never make the connection. They soothe the skin, ignore the signal, and carry on, unaware that their body is begging them to listen before it's too late. Imagine discovering that an itch on your leg isn't about dryness at all, but about blood failing to circulate, that an itch on your back is not your shirt tag, but your organs crying out. These are not myths. They are patterns doctors have seen again and again in older adults who missed the message until the damage was already done. Stay with us, because today we uncover the 4 hidden places on the body where itchiness is more than skin deep. By the end, you'll know what these signals mean and how you can act before it's too late. Subscribe now to support this channel so we can continue bringing you insights that protect your health and your future. Question for you: do you believe the body always warns us before illness strikes? A. Yes, it always whispers first. B. No, illness often comes without warning. Comment your answer below. When people think about aging and health, their minds usually go straight to the heart, the brain, or perhaps fading memory. The legs are rarely given the same attention, yet they are quietly among the most important parts of the body in determining independence and longevity. Doctors sometimes refer to them as the second heart because of the critical role they play in pumping blood back up to the rest of the body. Every step you take, every small contraction of your calf muscles acts as a pump that keeps circulation alive. But when circulation weakens, the signs are rarely dramatic at first. They appear as subtle whispers on the skin. One of those whispers is an itch, seemingly ordinary, but often carrying a much deeper meaning. Imagine 2 men, both in their 80s. Harold begins his mornings with a short walk around his neighborhood. His steps may not be as quick as they once were, but they keep his blood moving and his muscles engaged. He checks his legs from time to time, noting that they feel steady, his skin healthy. Dennis, on the other hand, has slowed down more than he realized. He spends long hours sitting in his chair, television, filling the silence of the day. Lately, his calves and ankles have been itching, particularly at night. He rubs in lotion, assuming it's nothing more than dry skin, but the itch always returns. What Dennis doesn't know is that his circulation is weakening. Blood is no longer moving freely through the tiny vessels of his lower legs, and that itch is his body's way of asking him to pay attention. Poor circulation is more than an inconvenience. When blood flow to the lower limbs declines, the skin can become dry and irritated, but deeper tissues, muscles, nerves, and vessels also begin to suffer. The heart, forced to work harder against this resistance, bears an added load. The veins strain, and over time, limited circulation has been tied to higher risks of stroke, heart disease, and even cognitive decline. What begins as a simple itch can be the body's first attempt to warn you of these hidden dangers. The tragedy is that most people ignore this early sign. They treat the surface without addressing the cause. But there is hope. Circulation is not fixed, and much can be improved with awareness and small, consistent changes. Movement remains the most powerful medicine. Even gentle exercises, rotating your ankles, lifting your heels while seated, or taking short walks, help stimulate the calf muscles that act as natural pumps. Elevating the legs when resting can ease the burden on veins and allow blood to flow more freely. Staying hydrated ensures that the blood remains smooth and efficient, while wearing compression socks can offer critical support to weakened vessels. Cutting back on excess salt can reduce swelling, easing pressure on the circulatory system. What is striking about circulation in the legs is not just its physical importance, but its symbolism. When the legs remain strong, they grant independence the freedom to step outside, connect with the world, and carry the weight of daily life with dignity. When they weaken, life begins to contract. A once vibrant existence shrinks to a chair, a room, a small radius of movement, and often it starts with something so easy to overlook, an itch that doesn't go away. So if you or someone you love has felt that lingering itch on the calves, shins, or ankles without any rash, don't dismiss it as trivial. It may be the body's way of sounding an early alarm, not in panic but in patience, giving you the opportunity to act before something more serious develops. Your legs, your second heart, are calling for attention. By honoring that signal, by taking small but consistent steps, you protect not only your circulation, but your freedom, your clarity, and the quality of your years. There is a reason the back has always been a place of mystery in the human body. You cannot see it directly, you often cannot reach it, and yet it holds signals that are easy to overlook. For many older adults, a constant itch in the upper or middle back is brushed aside as irritation from clothing, a reaction to laundry soap, or simply dry skin that comes with age. But when this itch refuses to fade, when it lingers in the same spot for weeks or months, it is often less about the surface and more about what lies deep within. Doctors and researchers have long observed that persistent itching on the back is sometimes one of the first external signs of internal organs in distress, particularly the liver and kidneys. These organs are silent workers, cleansing the bloodstream of waste, balancing chemicals, and maintaining the body's delicate internal harmony. When they struggle, the first place the signal may appear is not in pain or swelling, but in the skin, where toxins begin to irritate the nerve endings. Imagine two women in their mid-70s. Dorothy has always lived with care for her health. She drinks water throughout the day, eats balanced meals, and keeps up with her checkups. She has never noticed much trouble with her skin. Janice, however, has been feeling more tired lately. Her ankles are swelling, her appetite is fading, and almost every night she finds herself scratching her back, especially in the middle, just out of reach. She tries changing soaps, applying creams, even switching laundry detergents, but the itch does not ease. What Janice cannot see is that her kidneys may no longer be filtering as effectively as before, or her liver may be burdened with toxins that the body struggles to clear. The itch is not a surface problem. It is a message from within, a quiet but insistent reminder that balance is being lost. The danger is not in the itch itself, but in what it represents. When the liver and kidneys weaken, the entire body suffers. Waste products build up in the bloodstream, slowing the mind, dulling energy, and even affecting sleep. Digestion falters, clarity fades, and a deep fatigue settles in. These changes do not happen overnight. They build gradually, often masked by the small distractions of everyday life. Yet, the skin, dense with nerve endings and directly connected to the bloodstream, often becomes the canvas where this imbalance first appears. For many seniors, the itch is constant, worse at night, and unresponsive to typical remedies. That persistence is what makes it significant. The hopeful truth is that these signals, when recognized early, open the door to prevention rather than crisis. A simple blood test can reveal how well the liver and kidneys are functioning. Staying hydrated supports their work, while reducing salt and processed foods eases their burden. Alcohol, which stresses both organs, becomes more dangerous with age and should be limited. Even reviewing medications with a doctor can reveal whether the drugs intended to heal are placing hidden pressure on these critical filters. In other words, the body is not betraying you, it is asking for care in the only language it has left. There is a quiet dignity in understanding these messages. An itch on the back may feel small, but it can carry the weight of your future well-being. To ignore it is to risk letting imbalance grow in silence until it shows up in far harsher ways. To acknowledge it is to respect the wisdom of the body and to act before the whisper turns into a shout. The skin does not lie. It mirrors what is happening deep inside, offering you the chance to restore balance, to lighten the load on organs that have worked tirelessly for decades, and to reclaim energy, clarity, and peace. So the next time your back itches without reason, pause before reaching for another cream. Ask instead what your body is trying to say, because that small irritation may be the very signal that gives you the gift of more years lived with strength and calm. There is something uniquely personal about the scalp and the back of the neck. These are places we touch absent-mindedly when stressed, places that tighten when tension rises, and places that often reveal the unspoken weight we carry inside. For many older adults, a persistent itch on the scalp or around the neck is dismissed as dryness, a reaction to shampoo, or simply part of aging. But when it continues without rash or visible irritation, it may be more than skin. It may be the nervous system itself, stretched thin by years of strain, signaling that it can no longer carry the hidden burdens of stress without consequence. The nerves that run through this region are among the most sensitive in the body, and they often become the first to express when something deeper is wrong, not just physically, but emotionally. Consider the lives of two men in their late 70s. Leonard has cultivated small rituals that keep him calm. He spends time in his garden, his hands in the soil, the sun warming his back. He meditates lightly in the evenings, letting his thoughts settle like dust in a still room. His scalp feels at ease, his nights peaceful. Ray, by contrast, has never quite adapted to retirement. Once defined by the rhythm of work, he now finds himself restless, unsettled, and unable to quiet his mind. He lies awake at night, thoughts racing, and during the day his hand drifts constantly to his head, scratching at an itch that no lotion or shampoo can soothe. What Ray does not realize is that his body is translating his inner turmoil into a physical signal. The itch is the nervous system's way of telling him that it is overwhelmed, that his stress has shifted from thought into nerve and skin. Science has confirmed what stories like Ray's reveal. As we age, our ability to recover from stress declines. Cortisol, the hormone of alertness, lingers longer in the bloodstream. The body stays in a low-grade state of tension rather than quickly returning to calm. Over months and years, this strain begins to erode immunity, drain energy, and quietly chip away at mental clarity. For some, the first sign of this hidden pressure is not visible exhaustion, but a creeping itch on the scalp or neck, where nerve endings are densely packed and especially reactive to stress. In more advanced cases, such itching has even been linked to neuropathy or early cognitive decline, as the nervous system loses resilience. Yet the story does not have to end in decline. The body is offering a warning that can also serve as an invitation to act. The itch becomes a reminder to slow down, to release the invisible tension that has built up over years. Simple practices, a few minutes of deep breathing, a quiet walk in the morning air, a phone call to a friend, or writing a few lines in a journal before bed can help regulate the stress signals that overload the nervous system. These are not cures in the dramatic sense, but they are powerful in their consistency, slowly teaching the body to return to balance. In Ray's case, when he began to make small changes, stepping outside each morning, turning off the evening news, reconnecting with family, the itch did not vanish overnight, but it softened, fading as his mind found steadier ground. There is a lesson here that extends beyond the surface. An itch on the head or neck may seem trivial, but it is often the nervous system speaking in the only language it knows. It is not a flaw or a punishment, but a call for care, a plea to restore balance between body and mind. To ignore it is to allow stress to burrow deeper, where it may one day emerge as illness. To listen is to take the first step toward peace, both mental and physical. In the end, the itch is not an enemy but a signal, asking you to acknowledge what your heart and mind may have long denied, that you deserve rest, you deserve calm, and you deserve to live these years not in silent tension, but in quiet strength. Among all the signals the body sends, perhaps the most overlooked is the quiet itch across the chest or abdomen. At first glance, it seems harmless, something easily dismissed as dry skin or a reaction to soap. But for many older adults, this irritation is not about the surface at all. It is about what the body is no longer receiving within vital nutrients that fuel strength, immunity, and mental clarity. As we age, digestion slows. The stomach produces less acid, absorption in the intestines weakens, and appetite fades. A person may look well-fed, the scale may barely change, yet deep inside the body begins to starve. And it is often the skin, stretched across the torso so close to vital organs, that becomes the first place to reveal this hidden hunger. The itch is not random. It is a signal that something essential is missing. Consider the lives of two women in their 80s. Joyce still takes pleasure in preparing small, colorful meals. She includes vegetables, a slice of protein, perhaps a handful of nuts or berries. Her portions are light, but her choices are nourishing. Her energy remains steady, her skin supple, her mind alert. Elaine, by contrast, has gradually lost interest in food. She often skips meals, relying on crackers, canned soup, or tea. She tells herself appetite is unimportant at her age, but her body disagrees. Over recent months, she has noticed persistent itching across her chest and belly, a sensation no cream or lotion can relieve. What Elaine cannot see is that her body is starving, not for calories, but for nutrients B, vitamins to power her nerves, minerals like zinc and magnesium to repair tissue, healthy fats to keep her cells strong. The itch is her body's plea to be nourished before it weakens further. Malnutrition in older adults is a hidden crisis. It rarely shows itself through dramatic weight loss. Instead, it quietly erodes strength, weakens muscles, leaves the immune system vulnerable, and even diminishes mental clarity. Many seniors assume that eating less is normal, that smaller appetites are simply part of growing old. But when the body no longer gets what it needs, decline accelerates, the skin dries, the nerves misfire, the brain loses its sharpness. A constant itch across the torso may seem minor, but it can be one of the earliest indicators that the body is running low on fuel. And if ignored, that quiet message may lead to weakness, illness, and a loss of independence. Yet unlike many other warnings, this one carries immense hope. Nutrition can be restored, and balance can be regained with simple, consistent effort. A boiled egg in the morning, a spoonful of yogurt, a handful of nuts, or a serving of fresh fruit may seem small, but over time they rebuild what the body craves. Even a quality multivitamin can help close the gaps. Food is not just about filling the stomach, it is about giving the body the raw materials to repair, to protect, to continue living with clarity and strength. For those who find appetite fading, the key is not large meals, but nutrient-dense choices, eaten in small but regular amounts. There is something profoundly symbolic about itchiness in the torso. The chest and abdomen protect the heart, lungs, stomach, liver, the very center of life. When this part of the body cries out, it is not asking for surface relief. It is asking to be cared for at the core. To ignore it is to let the body quietly weaken. To listen is to offer it what it needs most: nourishment, strength, renewal. So the next time you notice a lingering itch across your chest or belly, resist the urge to dismiss it as nothing. Ask instead, am I truly giving my body what it needs? That small question may be the difference between decline and resilience. Because behind that itch lies an invitation to restore vitality, to sharpen the mind, to protect independence, and to live the years ahead, not in quiet erosion, but in strength, clarity, and dignity.